This conference will now be recorded.
So today is Friday, June 26th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So far having a pretty good pre-market, especially once again, I keep saying summertime trading, but I mean, for a Friday during the summertime, there's a lot that we have going on, pretty good list. So let's get right into it. Now, first of all, INO from yesterday. If you guys didn't get to, I know a lot of people, are either working or, towards the afternoon, don't get to make it to the afternoon meeting, but if you didn't get to see it, I would definitely look on our YouTube channel and just take a look at it about INO yesterday, because after we got those huge ask prints that came in at 30, right about 130, a little bit after that, remember those shorter term prints that came in, and I told you guys that the move was going to have to be made in the, well, it wasn't going to have to be, but I basically said I was expecting it for the afternoon because it gave those shorter term right over, I believe it was 30.02, the prints that came in. And then we just ended up getting that beautiful move into the close. And then obviously you could see the aftermarket. That guy at 30 made a lot of money. Well, the guy at 30 that hit it pretty much like 4 times. All right, but now coming into this morning, so it's interesting. So I've been watching since early this morning. So we came up to 33. We hit our ask right about 8. Okay, then we had 33.50 ask prints, then we had 34 ask prints, then we had 34.50 ask prints. But one interesting thing right here is that, I mean, it's making its pullback now, but look at these prints that came in on the off level. Okay, this just basically told us that that short was going to be great for the pullback underneath where we began from that buying. Now, this is a lot of selling, without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm expecting a rather large pullback because every level, 33, 33.50, 34, and 34.50, all had ask prints coming into them. So keep that in mind. We're going to be expecting a lot towards that downside because of what we see here at 33.33, and as well as needing to pull back. But then once we start to get moving, there is the buying for us to be able to continue back up on our way. Now, keep in mind, 35 is not going to be an easy level. It's proven that many times now. Okay, pushed into it in the aftermarket, didn't hit. Push a little bit over, they took it right back down, came to 35. So we know for a fact, I mean, we know that anyway, but just based off of what's actually already happened, we know that there is selling, and we know that there's a market maker sitting there at that 35 level. So keep that in mind as we're pushing into there. I wouldn't set my price target much higher than that. I would use that as a spot to really look at what's happening, just like always. I mean, especially right now, 32.50, we're at 32.50. That's, a $2.50 move. That's a huge move. So definitely love what I see going on here. The prints have been pretty straightforward this morning within there. And, once again, having show of hand is all we can ask for. All right, but so it's had some great pre-market trading. Make sure that you go out there and get shares. I don't know if they're going to be available now. They were very early this morning, but definitely make sure that you're trying. Make sure that you're putting that as a part of your habit of your morning. The second you turn on your computer, you should be looking at things that could possibly be shorts and making sure that you go out there and be able to get your shares. Next thing is VXRT. So another one, which is absolutely incredible move from yesterday. Yesterday was just one of those days where everything just worked out perfectly. All right. Now, the one thing is that coming up to this 12, I'm very interested to see what we're going to get, because the first time right around 8 o'clock, we got a little bit, but not really that much. And then it's not going to let me go all the way back. But as we came back down to this 11, I saw a huge amount of selling that came into there. Now, keep in mind, I'm not worried about selling, because I understand a stock that goes from under, $2 and whatever cents to its highs of over 12. It's telling us there's huge positions, and we saw them building yesterday on top of everything else. So I really need to see that new buying coming in at highs. It's even more important because of the fact that we had that selling, that big time selling that came in at 11. And you can see a reaction so far I'm not really that impressed with. I mean, look at this. I mean, this isn't the position of somebody that thinks the stock is going to go to 15. All right. Now, do we have a ton of buying in it still? Yes, we do. But I need to see more right now. As of right this second, I am not sold on this stock being able to continue on its way towards that upside and really even get close to being able to hit 15, let alone 12.50 based off of the buying that we've seen. And that's 2 times now that happened. So I'm really looking very closely to that new buying coming in, because if we don't get that new buying, it's telling us that people are going to be getting out. So even a movement towards that upside, it's not going to have a long duration within it, because of the fact that if it was going to, then we know that there would be a lot more buying. Next thing, GPS. Now, this was actually my favorite trade of this morning, and I know it's not the prettiest looking stock out there, but at the same time, we had a ton of buying that started coming into this thing. And it wasn't even that it was a ton of buying. It was more the fact that well, relative it was, but it just kept happening at every single level. Then we came to that 1150, and you could see it leaked over into our, to 1153, 1155, and that's what we look for. And that gave us a real nice, easy, short-term trade to come into there. But you can see as we're continuing on its way up, it's still getting some new buying. Now, am I completely sold on this new buying? Nah, not really. I do want to see a little bit more, because you can see 1.5 million shares. We definitely need more, and we really didn't pull back at all from that 1150. So I would not be shocked to see that happen first, and then to be able to continue back towards that upside. But it needs more. Okay, it's another one where with that much volume that's coming in, especially if you look at the volume itself, we're talking about 75,000 to about 100,000 in that area. There's no reason in the world, and the orders get pretty thick. So there's no reason in the world that we shouldn't be able to see a lot more coming into this. And we want to make sure that everything is definitive, especially for our first trade of our day. SHLL, next one on our list. Now, this is an interesting one because we saw them building at that 16 and then that 18 level a whole bunch. And it really didn't make as much of a move as I would have expected, because if you look, it's been happening for days now. So overall, I think it still does have room towards the upside, but I just need to see something better. Unfortunately, right now, when I look at the prints, do we have some ass there at that 19? We do. Do we have some at 1950? We do, but nothing that jumps out at me and says, wow, this guy really wants a position. But it has been a good trade. Just keep in mind, its personality, from what I've just continued to see, is that once the market opens, it actually starts to build almost immediately and then ends up making its move a little bit later into the morning. Now, is that going to happen today because it's Friday? It's a little bit less of a chance, but it's still something that we definitely want to understand is a strong possibility, because that's what keeps happening. Now, during a building phase, that's, obviously, something that's going to happen. Okay, but we want to make sure that we get those definitive prints, and then we get that volume to show us that it's a release and it's trading time. Because otherwise, when you get caught in trading a building phase, what ends up happening is that you literally are just going to continue to get shaken out, and obviously that's not what we want. So two side list stocks. First one is IBIO. This is another beautiful one this morning. Since I've been watching, I've been pretty much about 745 or so. Once we hit 8, this thing's just been on a really nice uptrend, and it's been getting a lot of buying. But you just got to remember, it's already traded 20.3 million shares, so it's going to be extremely mixed. This is not an easy stock to be able to read. You might get a level and get lucky at a level that, kind of just shows exactly what it is, but that's not very common when you have this much volume already being traded. But based off of how cheap it is, just based off the, the beautiful move that we see coming into this morning, I don't have anything definitive that tells us we need to get to 3 yet, but overall, it definitely has potential, and that's really why it's on our side list, because it does have that potential. And then PHUN. So I don't like it as much as when I first originally put it on my list, because you could see it's just kind of dying out a little bit. It's going into that quanti type mode. The volume that it pushed up this second time was pretty disgusting, compared to how much it actually could trade if it wanted to. So it's another one I'm going to be keeping an eye on, but it's on the bottom of our side list, because it's like I said, it's got potential, but it's not as much there as we would like to see. And 150 did have some decent controlling prints, which it's not going to let me go back. It was okay compared to the print personality, but it wasn't anything that the first time that jumped out and said, you know what, well, this is going to run to 250, it's going to run to 3, and that's like I said, potential. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, but it is not on by any means towards the top of my list. All right, guys. Now, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else out there? Nope. All right, so overall, we do have a nice list. Okay, for a Friday morning, there's been some great pre-market trading that's already been happening. So just keep that in. Let's make sure that we keep in mind everything that we've talked about day in and day out. You didn't miss it, but selling INL 32 after you went over it. I'm not shocked at all, unfortunately, because like I said, when we talked about it, that giant pullback that needs to happen, I'm watching it as I'm talking. So sometimes you guys hear me stutter. It's because I'm actually watching something while I'm trying to talk at the same time. But yeah, I mean, look at this pullback. This, of course, it just doesn't fail. If I'm going to call something out during a meeting, it happens. And well, it happens well before I get a chance to go back into it. But see, that 33.33, those prints that came in based off of all the buying at every single level told us we need a huge pullback, and it told us that it was going to be happening. I mean, just a beautiful beautiful specimen of exactly what the prints mean. I mean, it was just a very easy story. So thank you for that, Derek. All right, guys. So like I said, let's make sure that we're focused on our trading, our patterns, and what we need to work on. All right, we should definitely get some real nice high probability trades. Remember, there's no reason in the world that you have to force anything right away because they will come as the day goes on. All right, I will talk to everybody in the chat, and happy trading.